right, Delishees, grab a plate. It is the delicious culture. We would love to have your tongue on this culture, not us, but just the culture. I am John Francois.
Today I'm Don Lemon.
Don Lemon, the disgraced CNN anchor, how did he get in your good graces?
I don't know why he's disgraced. So for me, I just love watching Don Lemon on TikTok, and right now he's covering the Epstein victims, speaking about wanting the Epstein. Uh, oh, I forgot what the act is, but there's a new act in Congress to get the files released.
Yeah, I saw that. There was it's a partial release, right? Not the full release.
It's the full release that they want in the act, the Epstein Transparency Act. That's what it's
Okay.
called.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, Don Lemon is okay. So he seems to be redeeming himself with his Epstein coverage. So the background is um, when he was on CNN. I think he was on the morning show, and he had said that in relation to either a female politician or female actors, I can't quite remember, but essentially he said that women are past their prime at a certain point in their life, like in their 40s or 50s, and you could call me out of bounds for saying this, but I don't know. Maybe as someone from the queer community, he thought he was speaking in a way that was just I don't know, like this sort of like playfully blunt conversational style, as opposed to how it would be perceived by the general public. But yeah, I think that happened a couple years ago, and there were some people that worked with him at CNN, maybe, that said that he just wasn't a great guy to work with. So interesting to see him kind of bounce back with this Epstein coverage.
I didn't know any of that happened. So, Don, if you were being shameful to women, shame on you.
Yeah.
Um,
So it
wow.
happened. So if you remember when Tucker Carlson got ousted from Fox News for the whole Dominion lawsuit, do you remember that news story?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that happened the same exact time that Don Lemon got ousted from CNN. So it was this whole big thing of like, oh, like toxic news anchors being ousted.
Well, I mean, hey, if you stick your foot in your mouth, you stick your foot in your mouth. Damn, Don. Damn.
I know. And I could be wrong. Maybe he did apologize since. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, obviously, he still has the drive of a news anchor. So I definitely have to see the Epstein coverage as from his voice. That might be interesting. But anywho, what a show that we have. So, first of all, we got to talk about. I mean, I don't see too many movies, so this might be already my top movie of the year. The horror movie Weapons from Zach
Gregor.
Krager. Krager. There you go. There you go. Is it your top movie of the year, or are you like? Did you have other contenders?
Well, I'm gonna find out if it's gonna be my top movie of the year after September 15th.
Gotcha. All
Well,
right.
actually,
Wonderful.
after September 19th. So I can't rule it as my top movie just yet.
All right. Wonderful. I also want to talk about the SNL casting turnovers that have happened of late, and what's on your plate. Give people a tease of that.
We're going to the courtrooms today, y'all. Cardi B, we're talking about her civil case, and then Karen Huger, she's out.
So Karen Huger, this is from the Real Housewives franchise.
Yes, Real Housewives of Potomac.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I think you would love the Las Culturistas podcast because, like, every episode they're talking about like literally every facet of the Housewives franchise, and I don't watch any of it, but I just like. There's something about like listening to people talk about something that they're really engaged and interested in that just like makes me a fan, even though I don't know what they're talking about.
But it's understandable. Sometimes things just pull you in, and if you love it, other people somewhere are gonna love listening to it.
Love it. We also have our samplers coming up later on, pieces of culture that we would recommend you to try. So, all right, let's start off with what's on both of our plates because we both want to talk about Weapons. I saw it, and I know, by the way, you listening and viewing, maybe you're shaking your head because Weapons has been out for a minute. So we may be a little bit late on the conversation, but you know it's still the top movie at the box office. Like even the quiet Labor Day weekend, it was, you know, number one. So people are still talking about it and raving about it. But yeah, you and I watched it for the first time coming out of the movie theater with my wife over the Labor Day weekend, and then I think you said you watched it two times so far.
I watched it two times. I went to the theater the first time and then watched it at home the other night, and I was just like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, and I'm really curious. We'll have to get into like what you may have noticed the second time that you may have not noticed the first time. But just a little bit of background for those of you who may not know. It's basically a movie about, like, you know, all these children that are mysteriously vanishing on the same night at exactly the same time, 2:17 in the morning, and we have this sort of small town community that is left questioning who or what is behind the disappearance. As of now, it could have made more money, but over $236 million made at the worldwide box office, and this was just on a $38 million budget. So to echo whoever that guy was with that wrote and directed American Fiction, Hollywood needs to invest more in stories that don't require a big budget, because at the end of the day, if you tell a good story, people will come.
Original story movies are making their mark this year. Sinners already did it, and now we have Weapons. I'm loving this original story that we're getting. It's not a retelling of anything, and I need more of this. So, Hollywood, invest in these films.
Absolutely. And I think we'll see more of it. I mean, you know, Sinners, another phenomenal original horror story from Ryan Coogler, and then you have Weapons with Zach Krager. We're gonna hopefully see more of this and not rely so much on IP like Marvel. So that'll be really interesting to see going forward. And yeah, written, directed, produced, and co-scored by Zach Krager. He really puts his creative stamp on this movie. So first of all, are you familiar with his background prior to making Weapons and the other horror movie Barbarian?
And no, all I knew was Barbarian and Weapons. I didn't know anything else about him.
So he kind of reminds me of Jordan Peele, where like you look at Jordan Peele's come up in comedy and you would never think, oh, this guy would turn out to be a phenomenal horror director. Zach Kreger, also a comedy background. He was a part of the comedy troupe The Whitest Kids You Know, and starred in sitcoms like Friends with Benefits, Guys with Kids, Wrecked. And yeah, as I mentioned before, Weapons, he was also known for directing and writing the movie Barbarian. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen Barbarian about 12 times. I just will put it on just to relax sometimes.
You know what? And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, what about it relaxes you? Is it like the calming Airbnb-ness of it that eventually builds up into something more?
It's any horror film. I can put it on as background noise because I love horror that much that I'm just like, oh, okay. I know when to look up on my phone. I know if I'm writing something to like pay attention at this moment. And then the eerie ambiance that's just created, it's just like, huh, something about this just feels like home.
I love that. Now, I think it wasn't until like we were seeing Weapons at the movie theater and Tony recognized the actor Justin Long, who I think he played Gary, like one of the many parents whose children disappeared. And
Mhm.
Tony was like, "Oh my god, I recognize that actor!" And oh wow, he was in other things, and he's also in Barbarian on Netflix. And that's how we watched the movie. We didn't watch it in the theater. We watched it on Netflix. We watched most of it, not the whole thing, because we're old people and we needed to sleep. But
I cannot imagine seeing Barbarians in the movie theater. That's one that's more of an at home movie. I couldn't go see that in theaters.
because it's more calming and like therapeutic for you.
For me, it's one of those things. It's one of those movies where you have to pay attention to
Yeah.
the small little changes that happen on screen. And in a movie theater, I couldn't do that because you know you've got other people around who are going to be causing some form of distraction. And I need to focus on those little intricate detail scenes.
Yeah. Hopefully you didn't have any distractions at the movie theater for Weapons when you saw it the first time.
I went and saw it completely alone. I
Oh,
saw it at 9 a.m. in the morning on a Monday. Nobody was there.
the best, the best. We almost saw Weapons to an empty theater. There were only maybe like two or three other people. It was one of those movie theaters where like they'll still assign you seats, like they'll have you
Mhm.
select your seats. And I feel like there should be a rule, like if there's only like five people in the theater, we could just sit wherever we want, right?
I feel the same way. If you're in the movie theater by yourself and the movie has gotten all the way through the credits, and maybe it's you and maybe a group of two, three other people, after the credits, they should be like, hey, y'all, you can move wherever you want to in here. We're not selling any more tickets, or if anybody else comes in, they just have to figure it out themselves.
Yeah, I mean it's exactly like say you go to a Broadway show, you paid God knows how much money for your balcony seats, and then intermission, you realize, oh, wait a minute, the people in the orchestra seats that paid like $1,000, either they left during intermission or they did not show up at all. So maybe we could move up, and the ushers would not give a shit. You know, it's kind of like
Mhm.
that logic.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I do understand assigned seating when it's like a premiere or they know they're gonna have a lot of traffic, but I don't know if you have a movie theater like it in your area. We have a movie theater here that used to be called the Dollar Movie Theater, and
Oh,
like all the late releases and stuff would go there, but now they've started showing like recent things,
yeah.
and people still don't go to that theater because it's like the old theater. And that's where I will go to watch movies when they premiere now because nobody goes there. And you
Oh.
can just sit in the theater room by yourself.
So the dollar movie theater, do they call that? Is it like the dollar store equivalent of a movie theater where you can like literally see a movie for $1?
Yeah, it used to be. Now it's not that way anymore, but it
Yeah.
used to be you could go for $1 and see any movie you wanted that they had playing.
Wow. All right. Well, Barbarian, for those of you that don't know, the basic summary of it all is that it's a woman staying at an Airbnb and she discovers that the house she's rented is not what it seems, which, I mean, you could describe that for a lot of horror movies, but still see Barbarian. I think it's still streaming on Netflix. It's such a great movie from Zach Krager. His second movie that we're talking about with Weapons, let's just kind of go through the main cast breakdown. You have Josh Brolin, who plays Archer Graff. He's one of the parents. He's a construction contractor and father of Matthew, one of the missing children. You have Julia Garner, who's Justine Gandy. She's the elementary school teacher who finds out that all but one of the students in her class has vanished. You have Alden Ehrenreich. Am I pronouncing that right?
I think so.
All right. Paul Morgan, he's a corrupt police officer and Justine's ex boyfriend. Austin Abrams is James, a homeless drug addict and burglar. Carrie Christopher plays Alex Lilly, the only child from Justine's class who did not disappear. We have Benedict Wong as Marcus Miller, the school principal who is sympathetic to Justine. And finally, the phenomenal Amy Madigan as Gladys, Alex's eccentric great aunt. Um, I don't know if you're more of a horror movie than I am. For me, the overriding theme was, oh, like what I thought this movie was going to be was not what it was going to be. Like starting with the title Weapons. Like you tell me like, "Oh, here's this hit movie at the box office, Weapons." And I'm thinking, "Oh, are we going to like just see a very violent military industrial type of movie?" Did you get any types of thoughts like that when you were first presented like, "Hey, here's a new horror movie out called Weapons."
Now, the first thing that I saw for weapons was the actual cover art that's on the
Ah,
movie poster.
yeah.
So I saw these kids in this weird position, and it looks like they're running, but you can't tell if they're running. And I'm like, what is about to happen here? And my mind went to weapons. And then when I saw children on the poster, I was like, are we getting a horror themed school shooting movie?
That would make
Like, I
sense.
didn't know what this was going to be.
Yeah, yeah. I did not see the cover art. I think the next step in my discovery of this movie was finding out, like, all right, it has to do with a disappearance. So I'm thinking, all right, disappearance, children, weapons. Okay, maybe guns are a part of it still in some way because I'm just taking it literally. It's called Weapons. And then I sat down at the movie theater and got something else. What did you think about the opening narration of this movie? Because that is what got me. I don't think I've ever heard a horror movie that starts with a narration from a child. It kind of reminded me that, like, wow, like you can use children for all kinds of movies effectively. Like, okay, you know, you want an adorable Christmas movie. Children love Christmas. Boom, there you go. You want a dysfunctional family movie where the child is affected. Boom, there you go. You get some great drama there. And there's just a specific haunting way that children are used in horror movies where it's like, oh my God. Like, you tell me this 5-year old is the Antichrist, and I'm scared.
children are terrifying. Children are scary. They are very terrifying, especially them little kids that you're like, oh, you are weird. But now we can't say you're weird because that would ostracize you from the group. But
Yeah.
no, some children, creepy. The Omen, creepy. The first time I heard a child narrate a horror movie was Silent Hill. It's creepy to hear children talk, especially when it comes to adult things, where you're like, whoa, how did this kid get here? And now I'm glued to my seat. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, you're definitely well versed in horror movies more than I am because I like this was the first movie I heard a child narrate this movie. Like as we're opening and the actress, I have to shout out the actress, Scarlett Cher, child actress called Scarlett Cher. Look her up on IMDb. She has credits. But just to have her open the movie like, well, it was a calm day at school, but then at 2:17 in the morning, it wasn't so calm. Like she just had this very oh, I don't know. Just yeah, just a childlike way of that adult bedtime storyteller. All right, kids, I'm gonna tell you a frightening story. Just imagine that, but a child doing it, and Scarlett Cher pulled it off greatly. So I don't know if you had thoughts about it, if you felt something significant, or was this just another run of the mill child narration in a horror movie for you?
For me, it didn't feel run of the mill because it was such a detailed narration to start off our story. And I didn't find out until later when I was watching some different breakdowns of the actual movie. She was not planned to do that narration in the
What?
beginning. In the
What?
beginning, when they were going to make the movie, there was not going to be narration because Krieger wanted to be more ambiguous with the opening. But then when they heard the narration soundtrack over it, they were like, keep it. It's gold.
Oh my god. And I also heard something about the ending. Something about like the original ending was gonna be like they were gonna have a shot of Josh Brolin's kid, but instead what ended up being the more effective ending was like the blackout and then you heard the ending narration from the girl. Did you hear something like that?
Yeah, so the original ending, they were going to stop with the kid, Matthew, after he's found with the blood on his hands.
Yeah.
And oh, Jesus, spoiler alert, y'all. We have been
It's fine.
talking about the movie in detail.
Yeah.
Make sure that you know if you don't want to hear this, fast forward it. But after they show Matthew with the blood on his hands, they were going to go into those final scene cuts with no narration. It was just going to be just the images and the music. And that would have been even more ambiguous for people to understand, like, what happened after this?
Yeah, yeah. And I think it tested poorly that ending, so that's why they didn't use it.
Because people were
Um
confused. Rightfully so. I would be so confused on what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, did you know that this movie was not going to come out until January of 2026 originally? But because it tested so fucking well to audiences, I guess the producers were just like, no, we got to get this out now.
Yes, they knew they had gold after the testing. And this movie is a gem in the horror community.
Yeah. Now, the camera zooming in on like the silent, emotionally affected face of Julia Garner's Justine teacher character. I was drawn to that. This is the town hall meeting where there's obviously angry, chaotic voices. All the parents are like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why aren't we getting this solved? Our children are gone. Who's finding our children?" Um, did you think that Julia Garner's character was going to kind of carry this silent, low key, traumatized thing throughout the movie? Were you not surprised at all that she just ends up being like this obsessed, boundary crossing, like frantic, home wrecking alcoholic of a person?
I knew who she was going to be right from the very beginning.
Yeah.
This is a school teacher in a town where everybody blames her. I knew from the beginning she was overstepping boundaries. The haircut said it all. Like, oh, she's that annoying teacher who is going to try to figure out what the problem is that we all end up loving at the end of the day. But I knew it. And what I loved about this, I didn't know any of the actors except her and the guy who plays Archer. Everybody else, I was like, I've never seen their faces before. So I'm
Mhm.
like, what am I about to get here?
Well, the haircut that you speak of, it's that blonde, curly, short haircut. Is it a Karen alternative? Like, how do you describe that haircut?
I don't know. I mean, I describe it as ramen noodle hair, but I
It's
don't know how else to like describe it. But anytime I've met somebody, no matter their race, if they have that haircut, they're going to be up in your business.
Yeah. Now, what about the evolution of the Alex Lilly character? Obviously, the only child that did not end up disappearing into the darkness at 2:17 in the morning. Um,
Ah,
my wife Tony was like whispering to me, like, "Oh, that kid is weird. He's a weirdo. Like, he's giving me weirdo vibes because you see a shot of him like walking in isolation with his thoughts in his head, with his backpack, as all the other children are, being their energetic selves outside after school or some shit like that." And my first thought was I was sympathetic toward the kid. I just figured like, oh, this is a traumatized kid who has seen his entire class just wiped away, and now he just doesn't know how to deal with it. And then, of course, you see the fucking fucked up haunted home that Alex is in with his zombie like parents, the newspapers covered up on the windows. So I'm like, all right, maybe Tony is right. Maybe he is a weirdo. And then, like, more of a twist that I didn't expect, if you could call it a twist, when you see the witchy Aunt Gladys and how she has just fucking warped Alex's parents, and Alex is just this poor innocent kid that's just like, what's going on? What's going on, Aunt Gladys? Like, leave! What are you doing?
Alex, that little fucking weirdo. Oh my God.
Are you still calling him a weirdo? What makes him a weirdo? I thought yeah, he had weirdo vibes at first, but didn't he just seem like a poor innocent kid who didn't deserve all that?
From the moment that kid got on screen, I was like, why are they not looking at that family? That little boy was weird. But now I'm a scary movie fan. And it's always the weird kids in class that are the scariest of the little kids. And I
Yeah,
was looking, I was like, I don't trust him. The fact that he's the only kid that's left, either he's got some power that's going against whatever took these other kids, or he's involved. And come to
yeah,
find out, he was involved. Now, rightfully so, under duress, he was a little scared,
yeah.
but I was like, oh no, I don't trust him.
I don't know, man. I would be that fucking weird, sort of antisocial kid myself if my day revolved around coming to class. I'm the only kid. All the other kids have been disappeared, and then I go home, very quiet, newspapers on the windows. My parents are zombie-like. I have to constantly feed them Campbell's soup to keep them going, and then I get my witchy Aunt Gladys just being like, "Yes, please." Come on, let's reignite the souls. Like I would probably not be the most normal kid either.
I don't expect you to be normal in that, but I expect the adults around to actually go and pinpoint where this weird energy is coming from. Because
Yeah,
everyone's like, no, we just need to make his life normal. Let's not stress him out. No, find out what's happening. Y'all
yeah.
are all weird to try and treat this kid with kid gloves right now when tons of children are missing. There's a
So so
problem here.
so in that sense, you're on Justine's side when she just plays really like aggressive.
No,
No, you're not. Okay.
no,
So
no.
what's the difference between that?
Justine,
How? Yeah. Go ahead.
why are you crossing professional boundaries that way when you have connections to the police department? That
Oh, like meaning the ex boyfriend police officer? Is that what you mean,
she
or
got
something
the
else?
ex boyfriend. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine. You're not. You just mean the ex boyfriend police officer? That's the connection you mean to the police department?
That and she has a cell phone.
Oh,
Pick up your cell phone and communicate this same information. Don't keep trying to get in there and mess things up. When she went to that house and saw that there was the newspaper on the windows and everything, instead of calling the police right away, what did she do? She went home. She didn't say anything until the morning and to the principal. And then when talking to the principal, she's getting pushback. She should have immediately said, I'm going to the police.
gotcha, gotcha. So you're saying Justine crossed the boundary, and it should have been more so the parents, the principal, who should have taken a more active role in really finding out what's going on in that home.
Justine should have picked up her phone and called the police.
Right, right,
Any
right.
moment that she had a question about information that's happening, she should have called the police. You're already under investigation, so you have a connection with them right away.
Yeah.
Call the police. That could have solved so many things here. But that's not the human response for some people. Sometimes people want to prove their own innocence because they think everybody's against them. But if Justine had just picked up her phone and said, hey, I was just here. I know I did not something I should not be doing, but there's something weird happening. I think we could have stopped a lot of this.
Yeah, I think and maybe this was like revealed during her conversation with the police officer that she ends up having the affair with. I think there was a sort of irritated impatience on her part. Of course, she's alcoholic. She's kind of crazy in the head, and she felt like, all right, like this is not happening quickly enough. I can figure this out myself because that's the only choice. So yeah. What about the drug addict? James, the homeless drug addict character, he has a phenomenal turn for me because at first I was just like, oh, ugh, God, I'm cringing because that's just the reaction I have when I see a drug addict. But then he just turns into this fantastic comic relief. He ends up discovering in that child's basement that, oh, there's the rest of the children. And, that's, where Aunt Gladys is keeping them to I don't know. What are they doing in the basement? Like, just she needs fresh souls saved up in there.
So I know she puts the kids under a spell,
Yeah.
and I think that Gladys is a succubus form of a witch, and she's siphoning their energy to make herself healthier.
Okay. And speaking of that, I was literally going to my wife Tony like every now and then at the movie theater trying to figure out like how being a witch works. And I also didn't know that there were like many different types of witches. Like I was learning like basic things like, oh, the salt that Gladys puts on the floor, like this is the line that you don't cross. And of course, her getting young souls to keep herself alive, and then the thorn stick with the little hair thing wrapped around it, poking the finger for the blood. And I are you vaguely familiar with how witchery works? Because I was just looking at this movie and thinking, oh, maybe I need to know some background on witches to understand why Gladys is doing what she's doing.
I got fortunate and had Tumblr when Tumblr was a big thing, and the witch
Oh,
community is huge on Tumblr. So I understood some of the stuff where I'm like, okay, this makes sense that she's using her blood to bind the ritual. She has a personal item for the person she wants to affect. Now, after rewatching the movie, I kept wondering, I was like, where are they getting these thorn sticks from? And I didn't notice that in the house she has a plant growing of them. So
yeah.
I needed to find out what that is. And once I found out, like, oh, this is her, what was the word? Terminal for her to
Hmm.
get her items for witchery from. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, this is so cool.
Ah, okay, okay. Well, good to know. I gotta watch that movie again because I did not see the plant in which the thorn came from.
It's the
Um,
funniest thing. It's in the background the entire time they show every scene in that house, but you never pick up on it because it just looks like a potted plant.
oh my god. Wow. But what did you think about the drug addict James's turn as the guy that discovers these kids in the basement, and then obviously there's this theme of like, oh, a drug addict could be a very untrustworthy, unreliant person, but he has this truth that the entire town knows. I don't know. I loved the comic relief between him and the police officer, the ex of Justine, and of course, the drug addict eventually becomes affected by the witchery of Gladys. But what did you think about this character?
I think he represents every person in America.
Oh,
He
really?
represents that everyday basic person who is just trying to get by. All he's trying to do when he first is found is trying to get $50 so he can get clothes to go to an interview to get a job. And it turns into a whirlwind for him because we have a cop who's extra violent for no reason. And then on top of that, we've got everybody just looking at him with disdain because he's just a person who's living. And he gets roped up all in this and has the truth to tell. And like every normal person in this world, nobody's going to believe what he has to say because it's not affecting them. But they don't believe him also because they're like, oh, well, he just uses drugs. He's just a person. That's all he is. And no one recognizes his humanity to the point that he gets swept up to completely losing it.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, I do remember he was on a phone call with somebody that was trying to get a job because I just, you know, the way the actor played the character, it just seemed like, all right, like he's clearly addicted to these hard drugs, and he's, trying to pawn these items that he stole to get money to get more drugs. That's the energy that I felt, at least.
He's on the phone with either his mother or brother. It's
Mm,
somebody he's related to, and he's leaving a voicemail. And he asks them for money to
right.
get clothes for his job interview. And then he does actually have a job interview that he's trying to go to. So
Yeah.
that's why he broke into the car and stole the iPad and the headphones.
Right.
And then
Right.
that's how he ended up breaking into Alex's house to steal the silverware to get money for clothes.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I love the arms stretched out run that those kids were doing as they were disappearing into the night, because maybe it's just me thinking too much into this, but like kids running like that, it just gave me this great combination of like childlike abandon, but also like, if they're possessed like that, it has a haunting feel to it. So I don't know. Whoever choreographed that run, the way their arms stretched out like that, the weapons run, so to speak, great job.
Yeah, whoever did, which makes me think, Krieger, you're a Naruto fan because that's the Naruto run, and I was just like laughing when I saw it at first. 'Cause I was like, "This looks crazy."
God, Naruto, a name I haven't heard in a while. My sister being a big anime fan, I know that that was one of the shows that she was into. So are they still running new episodes?
There's Boruto now, and Boruto can be forgotten. Boruto is Naruto's son, and I don't like Boruto. I don't think it's a good show. But if you want to see Naruto all grown up and he's Hokage now, and now he has a son named Boruto, it's out there.
All right, all right. How about this principal, Marcus Miller? God, poor guy. I mean, I think he's trying his best to figure out like what the fuck is up with this disappearance shit. And then you have this like one day off that he has with his partner, and they have like 10 mustard-filled hot dogs and carrots and chips. They're trying to enjoy some kind of movie with their Mickey Mouse shirts on, and then witchy Aunt Gladys comes up to the door to claim innocence and ask for, what was she asking for? Like she just wanted to talk about the disappearance shit, or was it something else?
So she wanted to talk about the disappearance stuff after Marcus spoke with her at the school. And I just have to say it. Any partner who is like Marcus's husband, I hate you. I
What's
hate you so much because
what?
Marcus, when she came to that door at the house, was going to say, "This is unprofessional and you need to leave." And his husband was like, "No, come on in." What?
Yeah. No, yeah, no. You crossed the boundary. Like, no, this is not. This is crossing a boundary. This is my day off, and what we can talk about Gladys can be talked about at the office. So yes, I agree. The husband should have realized that, but he was trying to be overly nice, inviting company host person. He thought that this was a harmless old lady, and clearly it wasn't, because it led Gladys to get Marcus all possessed and kill said husband. So maybe you were happy when the husband got his head bashed in like crazy.
I was, and to the point where I'm like, "See, stupid, why did you allow this lady in the house?" And then the other side of me was like, "Man, it looked like they were about to watch a good show and eat some food."
A lot. I mean, that is a spread I've never seen before. I was looking at Tony. I'm like, oh my god, that's like 10 mustard-filled hot dogs just like spread out on a line like that, carrots and chips. They were looking like they were about to have a good time, and now they can't, because one person's dead and the other one is all bloodied in the face, his eyes all poking out, and he's also doing the weapons run all over the street after being possessed by Gladys.
Part of me didn't feel bad for Marcus in that point where I'm like, okay, well, somebody's got to be the catalyst here to bring what's happening out into the open. And unfortunately, it was him. But that moment when he was chasing Justine down in the makeup, y'all did
Yeah,
amazing because
yeah.
I was terrified seeing that man's
Me
face.
too. Me too. Yep, absolutely. And you were talking about the moment where he ran up to Justine at the gas station and tackled her. Like, yeah, Benedict Wong, great job. That was a wonderful performance. Yeah. So we also, I mean, I am going to say it right now. I want an Oscar nomination for Amy Madigan as on Gladys, because, um, I mean, probably first and foremost, this is the type of actress that I've seen in other things, and I didn't know. that I saw her in other things, because the way they made her up so well, and also with her performance combined with it, it was just phenomenal. So, I mean, from the first shot, almost the first shot, you get a good impression of her when she comes into Marcus's office, and she's kind of grotesque looking with her big sunglasses, her bad wig, her makeup, everything. She kind of reminded me of that movie you hated, the Deliverance, right? I know you didn't like the Deliverance on Netflix. Glenn Close's makeup when she was the grandmother of the lead black lady character or whatever her name is, but yeah, just Amy Madigan sort of gave me those vibes. But what did you think about Amy Madigan's performances on Gladys? Like anything you liked, anything you disliked?
I love that she made me hate her. I loved that so much because she was so convincing as this aunt who was just like intrusive into everybody's lives. Now, I wonder if she's actually the aunt of Alex or Alex's mother, or this was just all some spell that she convinced them to start originally. But I get the feeling there's more to the story than we know.
Yeah, and Alex and on Gladys, their scenes when they're together, whether it be like silently in the kitchen or upstairs and on Gladys's bedroom, bravo, bravo, because it was just silently chilling. There was clearly manipulation on Gladys's part. My heart was breaking for Alex at certain points. It got me glued to my seat. So I applaud those actors, because I could tell that they worked on those scenes to make sure that they got it pitch perfect. Because, here's this old witchy woman telling this child, like, this is what's going to happen. Your life is different, and you're just going to have to put up with it.
Poor Alex, like you're still weird, but man, did they sell everybody worked so well in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And to see a young actor like the boy who played Alex do it so well,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna have a phenomenal career from this
I hope
because
so.
I was convinced by his energy.
He reminds me. Have you seen the miniseries Adolescence on Netflix?
I have.
Yeah, yeah. So he reminds me of that actor in the sense of, wow, like you're clearly a very young kid and you are given some pretty heavy material, and you got to wonder, like, where, like, because I just feel like maybe the lines are blurred between, like, oh, hey, here's a great professional actor doing this work, but also here's a kid who's still developing, who's being asked to absorb and then execute very heavy material, which could be argued like, oh, maybe like adults should be in charge of this sort of thing. But yeah, I kind of wonder of the behind the scenes conversations centering around these child actors when they have to deal with heavy material like this.
I wonder, it makes me hope that he doesn't get typecasted into specific roles
Right.
because this is definitely going to be a very memorable thing in his acting history. And side note, if you have not seen Adolescence and you have young boys, I encourage you to watch it with an open mind and just take in the message because it's very useful. And I think situations like this where we have kids take on such an adult but child centered moment in their lives, it's important now because we're not getting that a lot in media, and this is a good way to start sparking some conversations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and Tony, we recently finished Adolescence, and oh well. First of all, the actor Stephen Graham, who plays the father, phenomenal job. I've been a fan of his ever since Boardwalk Empire. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
I have not seen it, but I know about it.
Yeah, so Stephen Graham, uh, by the way, great at accents, because in that show from like the 2010s about the Prohibition era gangsters, Stephen is pretty much like a Chicago, Jersey accented guy, and the actor I think is originally from the UK, because I remember also seeing him in a sort of pressure cookery cooking drama series, and he had the same UK accent that he has here in Adolescence. But he co-created and wrote Adolescence along with somebody else, and I would say the camera did really well with the close-up shots of seeing how this father was affected. I think the shots, the camera shots that stand out to me is when you see him being affected by his son like being searched, like naked. You know, the cops going through his penis, and also the last scene in the show where Stephen Graham's father character just breaks down at the bed and covers the stuffed animal, and so yes, I probably am spoiling it for people watching and listening right now, but yeah, to echo what AJ is saying, Adolescence is a wonderful show if you really want to think about you know, boyhood, manhood, masculinity, incelism, so to speak. Like, it just has a lot of great themes.
It does. It does. It's hard. It is not an easy watch. I'm not going to tell you you're going to feel happy after you finish watching it, but it is one of those ones where, especially if you have young boys or you are somebody who maybe has not addressed those issues of incelism and what comes with it can be a good starting point to just open up a conversation.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Um, now, I guarantee you, like going back to what's the movie we were talking about? Weapons. On Gladys herself, Amy Madigan. I guarantee you, if you see her face on IMDb, you will be like, "Oh my god, I've seen her in like so many things." Because the makeup was so good, and then Tony shows me the picture of the actual actress, and I'm like, "Oh my god, what have I seen her in? What have I seen her in?" And you know, she's in everything from How to Get Away with Murder to Uncle Buck to Field of Dreams to Law and Order. I mean, I love seeing those actors who I would describe as like those like reliable supporting character actors who have been in a bunch of things, and you're just like, yeah, I've seen your face. I don't know your name, but I've seen your face.
I had to remember How to Get Away with Murder because she's actually one of my favorite people in the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, that's her.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Well, I guess I want to wrap up this weapons conversation with any additional thoughts that you have as regards to like the two times that you watched it, because I know that, you know, if I watch a movie more than once, there may be things that I've picked up from the subsequent watches that I didn't pick up the first time. So I'm curious, like when you watch movies repeatedly, like Weapons, are you like trying to get a keen eye for things that you may have not seen the first time, or are you just coming in as a viewer that just wants to enjoy it like you did the first time?
I rewatch for the feeling that I get of the story.
Yeah.
So when I'm rewatching something, sometimes I'll pay attention, like, oh, I didn't notice that little like tidbit here or there. With Weapons, what didn't settle in for me the first time, but settled in for me the second time is the ending. When some of the kids a year later are just finally starting to speak and some of them have still not recovered at all. I was like, oh my God, Gladys isn't done. Is she really dead? Is there going to be more? What comes next? Because we have Alex's parents who are now in some kind of facility. Alex is staying with another aunt,
Yeah.
and the town has not fully recovered. So is the magic really gone? And that's what got me the second time rewatching it.
Yeah, Zach Kreger, I think, and I looked this up on Wikipedia, so don't rely on me for the source here, but I think he had mentioned thinking about writing a sequel. You would think when the kids fucking, because who got the kids out of their trance in the basement? Who was the one? Was it Julia Garner's character? Who was the one who did it?
Alex did after he broke the
Oh yeah,
stick with Gladys's hair on it. So
yeah.
they attack her and rip her to shreds.
Yeah, and the kids get out of their trance. They attack on Gladys. They chew her out like nobody's business in someone's yard. Of course, very funny as you see on Gladys being chased, and the kids you know, chasing her, and they're going from house to house to house, and then you just see these people like, what the fuck is going on? It was great.
There's this moment, y'all, when you see it, after the kids chase Gladys through this one family's house, Archer comes through the house and the wife in the background screams, there's now a random man in our house.
Yeah, never mind the bloody on Gladys scene. It's like, oh, honey, there's a man in our yard. Like, what? There's a man in our living room. What's going on?
It was the funniest moment. I screamed. I was like, I missed that. Another thing I missed the first time, Matthew is a little shit. Archer's son is a bully, and I did not feel bad for him after he disappeared.
What evidence do you have of him being a bully? I totally did not see that.
He kicks Alex in the butt multiple times and then follows him out to the school at his dad's
Yeah.
car, calling him a loser the entire time.
He was the bully. Oh my god. Wow. Well, there you
Hmm.
go. Karma is a bitch, Matthew. All right. Well, Weapons, we highly recommend it. Go see it. It's still in theaters. I think it's still the number one movie out there. It is a great, great, great watch if you love horror. That really gets your attention. Let's talk about what is on your plate specifically, AJ. I know that Cardi B was on trial for something having to do with allegedly assaulting her security guard. Do I have that right?
Yes, yes. So this is my legal watch, and I kind of like want the SPU sound that da da
Oh, I
after.
have to find that sound. Yeah.
But Cardi B, to start us off, she had a civil lawsuit filed against her by her former security guard for an incident that happened in 2018. She was still pregnant with her child Culture at the time, and I think they were going to a doctor's appointment. And the security guard, well, the bodyguard, said that she assaulted him by scratching him with her fingernail over an incident that happened inside of the clinic.
Mm.
Now, this was a civil case, so there was no criminal investigation. This was all about suing for money, and they were suing for $24 million.
Holy
Crazy.
crap. Holy crap. So we don't know the details of what incident they were arguing about.
We don't know what they were arguing about. I think they may have talked about it during the trial, but that part of the testimony I was not privy to. But we do know that the court found her not liable, which means she does not have to pay that money.
How did the court come to that conclusion?
So now, during the court case, lawyers presented their case, and then the judge made their final determination on, is this 24 million going to be something that Cardi would be liable for, and did she actually assault this bodyguard? Now, throughout the court case, we had Cardi and her legal team, and then we had the prosecutors. The prosecutor in this Silver case, I don't think was a good lawyer because they asked very bad questions. If I were to ask you in court this question, I just want to know what your response would be. So, John, when you came to court yesterday, your hair was brown. Today, it's blonde. On the first day of court, it was black. Can you tell us what's going on?
Well, Your Honor, it's something called whatever the fuck I want to do with my hair. I don't think that has an effect over whether I'm truthworthy or worthy of assaulting somebody. I just feel like having my hair color brown on this specific day.
Boom. You're Cardi B in this moment because it's almost exactly how she answered.
Oh my god.
And
Go ahead.
they tried to use that to call her a liar, that she changes her hair color and wigs to say, oh, you're lying.
You change all these identities. So yes, you assaulted your security officer with a nail. Yeah, all I was seeing from Reddit was like the hilarious ways in which Cardi B was responding to the trial. So it was the hair thing, and then and what other ways was she responding that were viral?
So, one of the biggest viral ways that she responded, the lawyer asked her, did you call him fat? And she said, no, I didn't call him fat. I call him a bitch.
Okay. Now, maybe you're more intelligent in legalese like I am. Does name calling your security guard is that relevant to the assault thing at hand?
In trying to prove their case that she was violent and aggressive towards him, it could help,
Yeah.
but name calling is a huge stretch to physically assaulting somebody.
All right.
And the thing in my head and possibly more people's of, did she actually assault this bodyguard who is almost twice her height and twice her size, is during the incident she was pregnant. She was very pregnant.
Yeah.
And I can't see somebody as little as her being pregnant being able to jump up and assault this bodyguard who's twice her size.
Right. So I know Cardi B has very long nails. Would you say that that nail would be enough to assault anybody, or is it just kind of blown out of proportion by the media?
I think it's blown out of proportion. And the only reason why I think it's blown out of proportion, she does wear really long nails and it is possible to scratch somebody.
Yeah.
But when you have acrylic nails on like that, your fingertips are pretty sensitive. So it would more likely hurt her more than the security guard to even like attack somebody with those nails.
Yeah.
So it could happen. And unfortunately, Cardi, I need you to remember that you're Cardi B because it- everything I just said kind of gets thrown out the window for what happens when she leaves the courthouse.
What happens?
She left the courthouse after the verdict, and a reporter, well, a paparazzo, I'm not going to call this person a reporter because this was not a news question, asked her a question to inflame her. And the question was about the paternity of her current baby, and is this Offset baby or is this Stefan's baby that she's currently dating?
Okay.
Most
Continue.
most messy question in the world. And what does Cardi do? She throws a marker at the paparazzo on camera.
Classic Cardi B. I mean, this is the pro and con of her. Like she could be a very honest, impulsive person, and I mean, look, what you telling that to me is hilarious. I love her all the more for it. But yes, you're right. In the case of you just walked out of a courtroom winning this case, it's not a good look.
It's really not because you just won saying that you did not assault somebody. And then what do? You assault somebody on camera.
She doesn't know the irony. Oh my god, that's so funny. That's so
She
funny.
doesn't get it, and I just want to hug her and just say, "You're Cardi B. You don't even have to respond because when you leave, you're still Cardi B. Nobody would know who that man is until you threw something at him."
So, do we want to bet that there's going to be another case because of this marker throwing incident?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you this now. If I was that person who she threw the market at, I would have fallen on the ground. I would have said, my neck is injured. I would have claimed emotional and physical distress, and
Yep.
I would be suing because it's all on camera.
Yeah, yeah. And you could get that money.
I sure would. If I ever get assaulted by a celebrity, just know that I don't even care. We could not be in a car, and somehow I will end up through the sunroof of somebody's vehicle and say, you did it to me.
Yeah. Even celebrities want to sue celebrities just so they can get rich. I remember 3 years ago when the whole Chris Rock Will Smith slap thing was big at the Oscars, and Jim Carrey was just like, you know what? If Chris Rock did that to me, I would sue him for $10 million. Like he just said it outright. Like, yeah, like on national TV, like that kind of embarrassment. Come on now, $10 million.
Yes, I you assault me in front of cameras and I was not doing anything to you physically to warrant that assault. I am suing. I have to sue. Why would I waste my time fighting you? I'm going to court and I'm taking your money.
There you go. Do we know what's next for the security guard? Do we know like how he reacted to the trial and what is happening with him now?
Things have been pretty quiet on that front as far as a response from the security guard, but Cardi's team did say that they are going to countersue now and go after the security guard. So I don't know what that lawsuit's going to look like yet because they've only made a statement after the trial before Cardi assaulted the new person. But it's just
Old assault
darn it.
turns into new assault.
I don't even know if we
Alleged.
have to say allegedly for this one because it's on camera.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're talking about the
But
new assault. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, I don't know if we have to, if we do allegedly, but I don't know what's gonna happen. But if this security guard does get countersued, I don't really see it working out well in their favor since there's already a judgment that Cardi wasn't liable.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me of that moment in adolescence where, because like leading I mean, obviously, when the kid gets escorted out by police and he gets taken to the station and everything like that, like you're, I don't know how you were. Me, I was just kind of wondering, like, oh, I don't know, maybe the kid did do it, maybe the kid didn't do it, and then of course they show the clip of him beating the shit out of that girl, and it's like, oh, okay, well either there that's an AI doctored video, or I think you might be guilty there.
I am always on the person who is being arrested or charged with the crime side
Right.
until I see proof
Yeah.
that they did it. And in adolescence, I was just like you. I'm like, no, he didn't do it. No, he didn't do it. Y'all are being too rough with this kid. And then when the video came out, I was like, well, I just learned new information.
Right. Right. Yeah. Me and Tony were just like, oh, shit. Well, you fucked.
Yeah. And for me, that's one of those things. Okay, once I see the proof, I'm sorry, I can't be on your side anymore. You did it, and now you got to suffer the ramifications.
Yep, innocent until proven guilty. All right, well, keep me posted on the
Yes.
Cardi B of it all because anything about her, I'm always fascinated by and entertained by because she's just she's that personality. And didn't she start on a reality show? Wasn't she like on that Flavor Flav reality show or some shit like that? No, no, where was she on?
Love and hip hop.
Okay, okay, gotcha. That's where she came
Hmm.
from. All right,
She started on Love and Hip Hop, most successful person to ever come out of the franchise.
love that. And do we have any new music from her or no?
Yes, she actually has a new album out right now. I'm sorry, y'all, I can't think of the name of it.
Album?
But
She
yeah,
finally
she put out an album.
finally, like what? I thought that we were just gonna get singles, but no, she actually came out with a second album for once.
She did. She came out with a second album, and WAP is on this album. That's how long it's been since she's put out an album. Um, I haven't listened to it yet. I can tell you the new song from it. It gives me Jay-Z vibes, so I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Is that a good thing? Because Jay Z, of course, one of the most iconic rappers
I'm gonna say for Cardi, it's a good thing. We know that she doesn't write her own music, so I've never expected her to be this big lyricist.
at all. She
But
doesn't write any
this
of her
new
songs.
I don't think she writes much of her songs. I know she wrote Bodak Yellow,
Yeah.
but she has a team of writers for a lot of her songs, which y'all is not a bad thing. I think it works out pretty well for some people because Cardi has the vibe and flow that she needs, and they just give her the lyrics, and it works pretty well. This new single is definitely giving me more Cardi meets Foxy Brown.
Oh, okay. Yes, Foxy Brown, who I think her career like got affected by the hearing loss.
Yeah, unfortunately it did. She still, I think, was producing music or writing music, but she really didn't rap anymore.
Yeah, that's sad. All right, I got to talk about what's on my plate. SNL has been having quite a casting turnover lately. And just to give a little bit of background, I have had a very peak and valley interest in Saturday Night Live going back to, I don't know, middle school, high school, because like growing up with the Nickelodeon show, all that, as you and I did, I had always heard that like, oh, all that is SNL Junior, SNL Junior, and I think I had reached that point in middle school and high school where I was like, oh, let me find out this inspiration for all that, and I think ever since then, I've just been kind of keeping up with all things SNL. I, you know, there's something I like with SNL that like it has in common with my background as a theatrical actor, podcaster, broadcaster. There's just something about like the grind of putting out that kind of content regularly, the pressure cooker deadline that you have to work under, the fact that like you have to present it live and there's no edits. Like if you make a mistake, that's it. The fuck up is going to be out there for millions to see. So that is a big part of what appeals to SNL for me. I mean, I remember borrowing the first season on DVD at my local library back in high school and just having my sister's friend be like, "What? Why are you watching this thing from 1975? Like, shouldn't you be watching like a fucking I don't know Snoop Dogg and Pharrell music video for the umpteenth time?" Like, but like, yeah, I was just that kid with that kind of old school interest, even at 14 and 15 years old. So, um, feel free to say something as I blow my nose because my nose is a disaster right now.
Look, you touched my heart bringing up the good years of Snoop and Pharrell. And unfortunately, Uncle Snoop, I'm sorry, I can't be your fan anymore. But
I don't blame you. What did he fucking say? Like, oh, I went to see a movie with my granddaughter and I saw a queer relationship and I had a problem explaining it to her and I don't want to have to do that when I go to a movie. And it's like, how fucking difficult is it to just say, hey, man and a man, woman and a woman, they can love each other in the same way that a man and woman love each other. Like the degree to which these older adult figures think it's so complicated to explain queer relationships, it's just so frustrating.
it is, and the part that got me the most, I'm like, you do remember that when you released your first and second studio albums, you were encouraging girl on girl.
Yeah,
I don't understand how this is so hard for you.
yeah, because it just, you know how it is with straight men. It's like, yeah, like with lesbians, it only is okay if it's sexually gratifying to them. But once we get into just simple human rights and relationships, it's like, no, nope, I don't get that. I don't understand that, and I can't explain that to my kids. Yeah, I'm totally with you. When I saw that from Snoop Dogg, I'm just like, oh, God, fuck off.
Yeah, unfortunately, Snoop, fuck you. The inauguration crap was already one nail in the coffin. This is the other nail. Ugh.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, but yeah, and I think I still own the second season of SNL on DVD back in my mom's house in Connecticut. So, anywho,
Ooh.
I know. It's a giant box set with photos and DVDs and whatnot. Were you also a collector of like TV shows on DVD back in the day when that was a thing?
I still have a pretty massive DVD collection because once all this technology goes away, y'all, and the cloud is gone, I'm still gonna be able to watch my shows.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have a DVD player that works, the physical copy, there's something to be said about having those physical copies just in case. But anywho, yeah. So I think I still have that SNL season two DVD set, and reading the books. They had a great book that Tom Shales co-wrote called "Live from New York." Blah 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 blah. I can't remember the rest of the title, but it was essentially like a part biography, part cast and crew interview compilation book about Saturday Night Live from like the last 40 years or so, and it's a great book that I've consumed like a couple of times. And Susan, whatever her last name is, also came out with a book about creator Lorne Michaels and his life story and his career with SNL. So that was great. They have a Reddit page for SNL freaks like myself called Live from New York, where you get to like keep up on the latest news. Going back to the Las Culturistas podcast, one of the hosts is Bowen Yang, who is a cast member on SNL, I think still. And then yeah, I think I had a moment recently where I kind of like didn't keep up with SNL, but the season 50 of it all got me back into it. I mean, you remember, I mean, the 2024 election was the big thing. Yeah, I know, season 50. Yeah. Insane. Can you imagine a
Jeez,
show being on for 50 fucking years and it's still thriving?
that is so wild to me.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
Sesame Street's been on for 56 years, I think. So, yeah, shows can still thrive. But yeah, no, season 50 is what kind of got me back into the SNL of it all with the 2024 election skits. Obviously, you remember the phenomenal Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris, and then they had the 50th anniversary special, and then they had the Peacock documentaries where it was like 50 years of musical guests, and here's all the cast members and their auditions over the years. Like the one documentary that I was obsessed with was the documentary about the writers' room. Because being an SNL writer, it can be both rewarding, but it can also be a very hellish pressure cooker kind of a job. Um, and we got to give it up for these folks because they, don't have an easy job. I mean, week after week after week, you have to write the hell out of stuff. Like literally, after they meet with the host and pitch ideas to them on Monday, Tuesday is just all night writing, 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 and then next day, Wednesday, you have to present what you're in to the table of cast, crew, producers, and it's a honest table. If they like it, you'll hear laughter. If they don't, you won't hear laughter. And you could have your sketches blocked and rewritten and put up on its feet up to the final dress rehearsal moment and you work hard all week and right up before the live show. Sometimes during the live show, your sketch could be cut, and there you go. There's your entire work week, and then you got to do it over again the next week. So it's a pretty brutal job. It's not easy, and for those people that understandably say like, "Oh, SNL isn't funny anymore," and blah blah blah, a large part of what you may not find funny is just due to the fact that it's just not an easy job to write sketch comedy every week.
I cannot imagine. Oh my, like, John, your passion for SNL is what keeps me involved in SNL. I haven't been the biggest like SNL fan, but whenever I know you send me something about it, I'm like, okay, I gotta check it out. This has to be something that I need to see.
I want to see it in person. It's my goal, and it's very difficult to do it. Understandably, because it's fucking Saturday Night Live. Every August, like right before the new season starts, they have what's called the ticket lottery. And from like August 1st up until August 31st, you can send an email saying why you want to be a part of the studio audience, and then you just have to wait and hopefully be lucky. The other part of it, and this actually could be an easier way of getting in, is that you can just do like the standby line where you literally wait outside Rockefeller Plaza like the Friday before the show, and maybe the people who won tickets from the lottery could not make it. But you have to be one of those people that you hate, AJ, which is that Beyonce fan that is like camping out like the night before for many hours on end when they lost their chance to get the ticket online in advance at Ticketmaster. Like, I live in Vermont. New York City is like 7 hours away from me. I'm not going to go out of my way just for the chance to get into Saturday Night Live. So I'll just take my chances and like send an email and hope for the best. I had no luck for season 50, obviously, because it's season 50, but I may not have any luck for season 51. I submitted right at midnight on August 1st. That's when the entry period starts, and I have not received a response back. So I think that season 51 is not going to be in my roster.
Ah, okay, I'm crossing my fingers for you. Can you only submit like one entry, or is this like a weekly thing?
I believe it's best that you submit one entry. I don't know if they have a strict rule about that, but I just have this sneaking suspicion that they can suspect if a person is submitting more than once. I submitted for myself and I submitted on behalf of my wife Tony. So both of us didn't get a response, which the response could be as simply as confirming that we received your ticket request, but they probably were so cluttered at midnight on August 1st that it's hard to respond to everybody. But anywho, but yeah, no, they had some pretty big cast announcements ahead of the October 4th premiere that I'll just quickly run through because I know we've been going on for a while. 8-year veteran Heidi Gardner was seemingly leaving the show on her own terms. She talked about having sketch comedy fatigue, so not surprising. Devin Walker and Michael Longfellow, they both have been on the show for the past 3 seasons. They've been stand ups and they were let go. Oh my God. So, Emil Joaquin, I don't know if you remember someone on SNL who looks like Luigi, the guy who shot the
Yes.
seat. Yeah, yeah. So, Emil Joaquin, he was a featured cast member. He came out for the first time, new cast member on season 50. And it might break your heart how this guy found out he was let go. He got a phone call while he was at Six Flags during his friend's 36th birthday, and he talked about how he had to like walk through Bugs Bunny Park and look at Daffy Duck Lake in sort of this like sad, reflective, depressing. Because obviously, like this is a big dream job that you got, and you're getting a call in the middle of Six Flags when you're supposed to be happy that you are not coming back for season 51. So I can only imagine just getting that call and like, oh my God, everybody's so happy around me, but I just really want to just die.
Oh my God, that's
Have
torture.
you had that
I feel
happen
like you
where like
better.
you have you had that happen where you've been around in a happy environment and you got like the worst news while you're in that happy environment?
It is not easy. 1 year at Pride, at festive Pride, and I'm in the parade. And 30 seconds before we started marching in the parade, I got a terrible phone call. And everybody around me smiling, happy, throwing stuff in the air, passing out shots. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't be the Debbie Downer. So I had to hide that emotion, and it
Ugh.
sucked.
And that's hard. I I don't know if I could do that. I'm in a place in my life where if I got terrible news like that, say, I don't know, on New Year's Eve when I'm celebrating with everybody, I might have to be that person that's like, okay, excuse me. Y'all can celebrate. Happy New Year, but I'm going to go cry in the bathroom right now because it's just very, very hard for me these days to pretend that I'm happy when I'm not.
It's hard. There's one other time that I can think of, and it's because I agree with you, John, of what I would do. I was vacationing in the Adirondacks. As I'm driving up to meet my friends, I have three other friends in the car with me.
Yeah.
My job called me and said, "Hey, just so you know, we're letting your position go because of funding." And mind you, I took a week off vacation from work and we're driving up to the Adirondacks for this fun weekend.
Jeez.
And I'm driving in the car and I just crying, holding on to the steering wheel. And my friends are like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I can't talk about it right now. Let's just pretend this isn't happening."
Oh
Mm.
God. And the thing is that like these I don't know. I just wish there was like a controlled way where these employers would call you and give you the news when you're ready to hear it. But it's kind of like, when a family member dies. Like it just could happen when you least expect it, and you just have to process and grieve as much as you can. These employers don't know that you're at the Adirondacks or at Six Flags or whatever. They just are going to give you the news when it's most convenient for them. And if your vacation is fucked up, they're going to be like, well, we didn't know that. Sorry, not our problem.
That's it. They're just like, "Well, in your contract, you said we can terminate you at any time." And it's
Yeah.
like, damn.
God fucking damn it. Anyway, but my heart goes out to Emil. And with that being said, I mean they had announced like five new people in the cast,
Mhm.
and the big problem with SNL is that they have way too big of a cast. It used to be that you could have like 7 or 8 people in that cast, but now you could have as many as like 21 people in the cast, which is
Mhm.
very hard when it comes to like making sure that each person shines. But the creator Lauren Michaels, he wants to have his options wide open, like, oh, this person may have this unique voice for this sort of thing and this person may have this unique voice for that sort of thing, so I can kind of get it. But let's see, I mean, they have SNL writer and Please Don't Destroy member Ben Marshall, who's been added to the cast. Please Don't Destroy, it's a comedy trio that made short videos on SNL, much like the Lonely Island used to do back in the day with like Lazy Sunday and Dick in a Box. And I know, right? Are you familiar with the Lonely Island stuff?
I'm not, but I know Dick in the Box.
I mean, how do you not know it? I mean, that was for me. That was high school. Just watching that on YouTube and just being like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna make a song about presenting your penis as a Christmas present." I love it.
Which is hilarious.
Of course it
I'm
is.
still laughing now.
Of course it is. And shout out to Lonely Island and Seth Meyers. They have a podcast where they talk about that SNL digital shorts era that they were a part of. Yeah, I mean, these guys were putting out videos just as YouTube was popping in the mid 2000s. So they were like right up to like the digital video revolution. They were just right there on it. So Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Colhane, Cam Patterson, Veronica Slowikowska. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize. Personally, I'm curious as to whether Ashley Padilla, who was a new cast member from last season, is going to come back. But yeah, those are some of the big cast changes that are happening. And my last point about this is for those of you who are SNL freaks, if you want to have like a nice retrospective of the cast changes over the last 50 years, the Hollywood Reporter came out with a decent article about all the significant cast changes. So starting from when the original cast left back in 1980, and then you gave way to the phenomenon that was Eddie Murphy, and then you have like the 1984-1985 season where you had veterans like Billy Crystal, Martin Short. You had 1995 where the cast overhaul went from like Adam Sandler and Chris Farley one year to the introduction of Will Ferrell the next year. And then you had Tina Fey departing in 2006. You had Seth Meyers leaving in like 2013, 2014. You had Colin Jost and Michael Che debuting as Weekend Update anchors around that time. You had Kate McKinnon, Pete Davidson, A.D. Bryant, all those significant cast members leaving at 2022. So look up that article online on Hollywood Reporter. That would be a great read if you're into all the SNL cast turnovers. And I think you got some Real Housewives dish to tell me for the next item on your plate.
We do. The second part of my legal watch. Karen Huger, the Grand Dame from Real Housewives of Potomac, just got out of prison 6 months early on her sentence. It was a year and a half that I'm sorry, 2 years, not a year and a half, 2 year sentence that she was going to do for a DUI charge. I know.
Okay. So, can you give me a background as to like the personality of Karen from the Real Housewives franchise? What kind of person is she? Is it a total surprise that she got a DUI charge?
No, Karen Huger, she also goes by the Grand Dame, which should let you know right away. She's one of those people who thinks she's bigger than life
Oh.
and that her shit does not stink under any circumstances. She is on the Housewives. On Housewives, she tries to make friends with everybody, but secretly she's shady. Karen is just as shady as the rest of these women. As far as expecting her to get a DUI, it is not a far stretch because she's already had two before this.
Oh my God. Now, with the Real Housewives franchises of it all, I gotta wonder, as a fan of this, are you the type that's like, all right, I'm only gonna watch Potomac? Are you the type that like wants it all? You want the Potomac, you want the Beverly Hills, you want the New York? Like, are there differences enough in each of these franchises where it becomes entertaining? Like, just because they have a lot of them. That's what I know is that it can be a lot of television to consume.
It's a lot to consume. Now, specifically right now, Potomac would be the series that I would watch the most, and then possibly Atlanta. I haven't really gotten into the other seasons except for Beverly Hills. And if you can finish this line, you know why. Shut your mouth, you filthy beast.
That is an epic line. I've heard Salt Lake City is also a good franchise.
No, Salt Lake City, I've heard is good. I tried to get into season one, but I just couldn't. A lot of the women for me on that one, they're all Mormon. So it was a very unbearable cast for me. I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. But we did get the one housewife. What is her name? I can't think of her name. I'm sorry, y'all. But she went to prison and she's still in prison right now for, I think, money laundering.
Hmm.
So that was one of the highlights of that series, and I've got to get back into it. Miami is a good one. Dubai, I didn't really get into. I didn't really relate to any of these women, but we'll see if I get into more of them.
All right, all right. So as someone new like myself to this franchise, like, I'm looking at this Karen story and I want to find out more. Like, how can I watch the Real Housewives? When do new episodes come on? That sort of thing.
AMC and AMC's app, but you have to look at the Bravo section because it's technically Bravo TV. You can watch it there. If you also just, I mean, follow the Housewives on YouTube, you're gonna get some great clips because there's so many things that branch out from Housewives that it's worth watching. The new season is coming up in October for Potomac, and Karen just got released just in time to be a part of that season. And when she stepped out of that prison, the cameras were right there. So I know we're going to hear something from her.
Where did she have this DUI charge? What state?
So this was in, I think, Maryland, right
Oh,
outside of Potomac.
right.
And the video's out there if you want to see it. You can see her run into a median and then take out a few traffic signs, and then the police pull her over. And she's drunk, y'all. She's drunk when she is talking to those police officers.
Jesus. All right. Well, Karen from the Real Housewives. We'll keep her. We'll keep it posted on how she's doing with that DUI
I
charge.
am just gonna say, stay from behind the wheel of a car. Even though she's released, she can't drive for a year,
Yeah.
and DUI is unacceptable for anybody, especially in this day and age. If you drink, get an Uber, catch the bus, or walk home.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you saw the show Succession, but that actor who played Greg on the show Succession got arrested for suspicion of DUI in New Hampshire. And New Hampshire just seems to be in the news for like tragic driving incidents because I know Rudy Giuliani got himself into a terrible car accident, and not coincidentally, like it seemed like the next day he's being awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So I wonder if those are related.
I, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't feel bad for that man. I don't. I don't. I don't know what happened to Rudy Giuliani. He went from being this great person to who he is now. But yes, all of a sudden he's getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom because he was stopping a domestic violence incident before the crash.
I remember that story being layered. I was like, oh yeah, there was a domestic violence part of it, not just that Rudy got badly hurt in that crash. But yeah, so the trajectory of Rudy Giuliani is interesting because there's like Rudy Giuliani before 9/11 and then Rudy Giuliani after 9/11. Because I know before 9/11, he he was still fairly polarizing as a mayor because he was a very law and order kind of guy when it came to New York City. And when you are very much the law and order person in a place like New York City, it can get into racism territory. I know he ran against someone of color in the mayoral election in some year, and there was some racist stuff there, according to a documentary that I saw. And then, yeah, 9/11, he just became America's mayor. He showed a certain leadership that I thought, like, if he just left it at that, maybe the Medal of Freedom would have been more deserved. But ever since he just wanted to build up on his legacy and be associated with Trump, it's just like, what are you doing? What are you laughing
And the
at?
day the day he spoke at that tractor company and his hair dye was melting down the side of his face, I was like, yeah, Rudy Giuliani is gone. That's not the
Yeah,
same man.
he's not. He's not. His ego got the best of him. Anyway, all right. Shall we get into our samplers?
Let's get into them.
Yeah, this is a pieces of culture that AJ and I consumed that we recommend you try. Kind of like the samplers that you try at Costco. Mine's is really quick. The show on Netflix, My Life with the Walter Boys, season 2 recently came out, and my wife Tony and I binged a good portion of it over the Labor Day weekend. A basic summary, if you don't know what the show is about: Jackie Howard's life. It's disrupted by this freak accident. She's ripped from her home. I mean, she looks like she's 10, but she's more on the teenagery side. So she's ripped from her home. She has to start over on a ranch in Colorado with these parental guardians and their rather large family. We're talking 9 teenage boys and 1 girl. So this is a person of color, teenager, and she's moving in with this completely white family, rural Colorado, 9 teenage boys, 1 girl. So if you're into rural small town culture, like, and there's a lot of that to be found in media, either a romanticism of rural small hometown culture, or say something like a Sex and a City where it's like New York City, it's the greatest city in the world. Like, it's just like those big contrasts. So rural small hometown culture is prominent in this show. If you love your alcoholic teenage heartthrobs, which is both present in My Life with the Walter Boys and another show on Netflix, Ginny and Georgia, there you go. There, this show has it. And then
Mm.
you have this ridiculous love triangle with Jackie and 2 of the teenage Walter boys, where you're just like, you know what? This is another reason why I hate love triangles, because especially when all 3 of y'all live in the same damn house, like the tension is just gonna go off on a way where you're just like, is it worth it? Y'all live in the same damn house. So, My Life with the Walter Boys, streaming on Netflix. I recommend it. It's a good watch.
I am going to watch this. This gives me good old down home vibes of like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're going to the corn husking field.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's and look, I get it. I mean, I'm from rural Vermont right now. That's where I live. I'm not originally from here, but I live here. So I get the greatness about living in a rural small hometown. But then, you also see the downsides of that, people being in your business and people not being so progressively minded. So there's pros and cons. There's pros and cons, but I'm so curious about your sampler. Oh my god, you got like some anime stuff coming out?
So this is my favorite time of year. every year in September is when we get the fall releases of new animes. There's a
Nice.
couple that I'm going to focus on specifically, y'all. So if you like Pokemon, Pokemon Concierge Season 2 is premiering on Netflix, and that's actually tomorrow, September
Ooh,
4th. If you like claymation animation, everything's in claymation. Our main characters, Haru, Satoshi, or Ash Ketchum, is not in this show at all, but it's a slice of life anime at a Pokemon resort where Haru has to make all the Pokemon comfortable at this resort, and it's tons of fun to watch.
I love that. So, God, how is Pokemon like the Power Rangers universe where you just have so many like interpretations of it? Like, where are we at right now in the Pokemon universe?
Well, it's coming to that now. So the main canon Pokemon that we all grew up with Ash Ketchum, that ended. Ash Ketchum is on his own journey. Now you've got Concierge and you've got a few other offshoots of different Pokemon trainers. And now we're getting this Pokemon universe built for us, which there's a new video game coming out in a couple of months too.
I love that. What's your other recommendation?
Next recommendation, Demon Slayer. The new movie, Kimetsu no Yaiba, if you go by the Japanese name, Infinity Castle, comes out on September 15th. And it's what we've all been waiting for. John, you may not be familiar with Demon Slayer, but the fight sequences in this show are amazing. And if anybody is wondering, all of our Hashira get to fight a demon in this movie. So it's going to be amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to get back into anime. I keep on telling myself that because for me it was like, and this might be basic of me, but my experience with anime was the Toonami programming block on Cartoon Network back in like the late '90s, early 2000s when I was in elementary school. So I was into like Dragon Ball and Tenchi and Zoids, those kind of shows. Inuyasha. I think my sister is still into anime, but yeah, from what I've seen, I mean, they produce a lot of great work.
They do, and the fact that you know Inuyasha, John, puts you leaps and bounds ahead of people who have never watched an anime in their life.
Yeah, I think my sister still owns an Inuyasha DVD. Yeah, she and her friend Diane, and they're still friends to this day. They were very big on Inuyasha. There was also another one, Yo Yo Hakusho or something like that. Oh, I forgot. I totally
Yu
forgot.
Yu Hakusho, you're right on the money.
There you go. Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, yeah. I'm surprised at how much anime I've still retained in my memory because, no, I had great memories of that when I was in elementary school. Did you also have an anime club in your high school? Because there was one in my high school.
We did. We had an anime club, and I loved it. They started it in my 11th grade year, so I didn't get to like get it all 4 years, but the last 2 years, amazing.
Yeah. Oh my god. Do they still have Toonami on? Because I think it moved to Adult Swim. Is it still? No, they canceled it.
Yeah, so they got rid of Toonami and then anime went more towards Adult Swim because Cartoon Network realized that their bigger audience for anime were people who wanted more adult oriented anime stories.
I
So
see.
Toonami, that kind of block fell off. And it's okay because they replaced Toonami with original animated series here from the United States and they were still really good.
Oh, all right. Wonderful. You have any other recommendations?
A last anime recommendation I'm going to give you guys to watch is One Punch Man. We are finally getting season 3. If you're not familiar with One Punch Man, it's about Earth and how all these people have different superpowers, but the main character, One Punch Man, who is kind of a parody of Goku from Dragon Ball, can defeat any person, no matter how strong they are, with one punch.
Oh
And
my
it's
god.
so good.
That's so funny. I love that. Oh my god! All right, I'll definitely have to take a look into those anime samplers. Those are wonderful recommendations.
Mhm.
Yeah, the start of fall, it
Now,
just means so many things. Go ahead. Yeah.
it does. It means so many things, and this is going to go back to what I talked to earlier about movies that are coming out, and that's why I can't say Weapons is my number one right now.
Mm,
We got two movies that I encourage everybody to look into and go see. The first one's coming out on September 12th. It's a Stephen King movie called The Long Walk,
mm.
and it's going to be phenomenal. It's about a group of young men who go on a walk and they are followed by somebody who's encouraging them to go on this walk. And they will win a prize at the end, but only one person can survive the walk. And if you don't complete the walk, you're eliminated. And that could be death.
Wow.
So that's one. Mhm.
Wow. All right, so I'm getting like a Hunger Games, Squid Game kind of competitive horror reality show vibe here. Okay.
That's what it's given us. And then the second, everybody needs to go see this movie. Jordan Peele is giving us another gem called Him on September 19th. And Marlon Wayans is in this scary movie. And Him
Yes.
is about this guy who wants to be the best.
Yes. I saw that preview again before we saw Weapons cuz we saw that preview fittingly enough before we saw Sinners in the theater. Yeah, that movie mixes like the pressure of football, the concussion part of it, and then a horror element. I know Jordan Peele has a producer credit on it, so yeah, that should be an interesting movie. I know Marlon Wayans. I mean, he's already proved himself to be a good dramatic actor, so this one might be a good one. And also, I know this is fitting because like these are previews before we see a horror movie, but literally when we were seeing the previews before Weapons, I was like, oh, every preview is a horror movie. Like there's no previews for anything else. I mean, which makes sense. I mean, like hey, if you like this horror movie, then you may like these other horror movies. But it's just I don't know. I guess I'm used to like going into a movie theater and getting a mix. Like, oh, here's a comedy preview, here's a horror preview, here's an action preview. But no, like literally every preview was a horror movie, and why not when you're going to see Weapons and also Halloween's around the corner. So
Hmm. I've noticed something, and I'm so happy that you said that. Specifically for horror movies, it's only horror movies that they preview in the beginning. But I've noticed if I go see an action, a comedy, a romance movie, or even a kids movie, there's a mix of every kind of trailer that happens before that movie starts. But horror movies, they're like, nope, you're here to be scared, so we're going to scare you in the previews.
I think these people that create these previews, maybe they just sense that there's no audience like the horror audience. The horror audience can be a very dedicated, intense audience. So yeah, I mean, maybe they just think, you know what, like if you're coming to see Weapons, then you are probably obsessed with horror and want to see more, and here's more options that you could see. I saw your TikTok. Tony is also. Did you create a TikTok where you were like looking forward to The Conjuring Last Rites, or am I going crazy?
Ah, I cannot wait to go see this movie. They were handing out holy water. There was a priest at one of the premieres, and they said somebody got possessed by a demon during the movie. Yes, it's on my TikTok, and I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh my god. If movie theaters want to survive, I think action and horror are the way to go, and I would put horror at the top. There's just something very community friendly and also effective about seeing a horror movie on the big screen. There's just nothing like it. I love it.
There's nothing like it. I'm telling y'all, and this may sound like a stereotype. You need to go to a horror movie theater showing where there are black people in that theater. You need those black people saying, "Don't go in there.
Yep.
I told you."
Yep. Yep. I one of Jordan Peele's movies, Us. I remember seeing that movie in a theater in Connecticut, this like Hartford area, lots of black people. I went there with my family, and I enjoy the reaction of everybody around me as much as I enjoyed the movie. Like it's just because black people will get riled up. They'll just be like, "No, no, no, don't go in there." But and they also get easily scared as well. It's just yeah, going back to the community friendliness of all. Like horror movies, I don't really like to watch them alone. I like to watch them with other people because there's just that comforting thing that you get when you're scared or shocked or in suspense with somebody else. And or if you've already watched the movie and you just want to see it just to see the other person's reaction. I mean, it's so much fun to see it with people.
If there's a community in horror movies, and horror movies are the way to go right now. I'm enjoying them. I'm loving that we're getting so many creative takes on horror. And just like you said, There's something about going to the movie theater and seeing that my reaction is not a lone reaction. Because at home, when I was watching Weapons, I was screaming at my television of, "Don't you go into that damn house." I, and I know other people in the theater would be screaming it too.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I cannot wait. I look. I maybe it's because I'm just tired of the summer heat, but I'm looking forward to fall. I'm looking forward to putting up the Halloween decorations up. I'm looking forward to all the horror movies that we get to watch. So it's gonna be a good time of year.
It is. I'm excited. And by the way, y'all, 28 years later, it's not a bad movie. I've heard a lot of people discussing it. It's just a lead in to the next film. So
Ah,
just treat it as a trailer, a very extended, long trailer, and then the next film is going to flesh it all out.
wonderful. All right, well, that's our samplers, y'all, and that is the Delicious Culture. Find us wherever you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, SiriusXM. That's where you can listen to us. Please leave us a rating and review if you like us. If you don't, that's okay, but it doesn't help if you leave a negative rating and review. So only positive ones if you like us.
Yes, if you don't like us, keep it to yourself, but know that we will survive.
We will. We will. Life will move on. We have full video episodes up on Spotify and YouTube. Please like, comment, share. We would appreciate it. Email us at thedeliciousculture@gmail.com. You can find us on social media at The Delicious Culture on Instagram, Threads, Reddit, YouTube. Again, follow, subscribe, comment, like, share. We are at Delicious Culture on TikTok. Same thing. Follow, comment, like, share, all that stuff. It really helps us out if you like the content. And how can people find you, AJ?
You can find me on TikTok and YouTube. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just had a brain fart. You can follow me on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at AJ Vandertunt. You'll see me there. And yes, on TikTok, I now have two pages. The second is specific to things outside of politics for y'all.
Nice. So is it the so they're two different handles then?
It's just AJ Vandertunt, but both of me will come up because they're under the same thing.
I see. I see. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, when you were pausing trying to search for words, I was almost going to say Truth Social. Like we can find you on Truth Social. just
On True
just
Social, I have a hidden account. I don't have a username that's searchable or anything because I use True Social to troll people.
are you serious?
Oh, 100%. I am a true social troll. And it is so much fun some days when you just go on there and debunk the lies that are posted and see people get inflamed by facts.
Love it. Love it. Doing the good work out there. All right, shall we let some deliciousness ring?
You guys, the next time you go to the movie theater, leave your kids at home. It's a horror movie and put your phone on silent. Let that deliciousness ring.